What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel for my first piece of Regulation D content. I'm starting us off with a fairly basic team, but it's honestly my favorite in the format so far, and I really do think something like this is what's going to take Worlds in August. There are actually some really cool choices on this team, despite it looking basic, so I'm going to go through each member of it, but if that's not your jam and you're just into the battles, then go ahead and use the timestamps below to skip ahead. So first, let's talk about Dragonite Chien-Pao. It is the classic, it's peanut butter and chocolate, but honestly, things are classics for a reason. Dragonite here is running Inner Focus over Multiscale to deal with the amount of Fake Out and Intimidate in the format, especially since Landorus got added. So I've given it just enough physical bulk to take an opposing Pao Knight Terra E-Speed, since we lose that survivability from the Multiscale. Outrage does insane damage if we get into the appropriate situation to click it, especially if Chien-Pao's next to us. And then there's Iron Head and Stomping Tantrum are just great coverage for what normal and Dragon can't hit. As an aside, this is my original Dragonite from Fire Red, so it is literally old enough to vote, and maybe older than some of you, which is disturbing. Anyway, Chien-Pao is just the most basic set possible. We're going to skip through him pretty quickly. I've opted even for Jolly over Adamant to be safe, because despite the Sash keeping it safe, both it and Flutter main are now extremely common in this format, so the chance to outspeed or at least get a speed tie seems worth losing that extra bit of damage. Just keeping Chien-Pao alive next to one of our physical attackers can be way more game-changing than its own attacks, so I think that's the right choice in Reg D, but you're obviously free to go Adamant and maybe pick up some KOs you wouldn't otherwise. Speaking of those physical attackers, though, Mystic Water, Terra Water, Urshifu Rapid Strike next to Chien-Pao is pretty much a war crime. You can just straight up Oko resist with it. It's wild. As for our Iron Hands, it also has more physical attack investment than most AV sets do, so either of these mons can be great late game cleaners next to Chien-Pao. While some matchups will allow me to go offensive with Chien-Pao plus a physical partner right off the bat, I'll usually keep a pair like this in the back as late game cleaners, and I think that's the most consistent way to go about it. Even Iron Hands does very well for that, and then can be a bulky switch in if you need it. Now for our special attackers, though, let's talk Flutter main. It's Terra Water, and that lets us deal with opposing Urshifu Rapid Strike, even the really strong ones, even in rain. If we pop Terra Water with the bulk we have, we will take it, and we can just kill back with a Dazzling Gleam, and it's pretty great. We are Booster Special Attack, that helps us make up for the lack of power from Terra Fairy, that was more the standard in Reg C, and it has significant bulk to boot. So the best part of the set, though, is actually hidden by my face cam here, and that is Substitute. The other move is Protect. The HP here is optimized to let us click that substitute button up to 4 times. If Flutter main doesn't get hit, it would have 1 HP after the last one. And that is absolutely massive for the Trick Room matchup, which is super common in Reg D, thanks to just new tools for that coming out, like Ursaluna, Cresselia, and even though it's less common now in Namorous. Also, just being immune to status and stat drops entirely when the substitute up really doesn't hurt. And then finally, there's Tornadus. Not a ton to say here. It's a super basic 252 set, but notably we are running both Terra Ghost and Covert Cloak. It seems a little redundant. The reason being, though, is that the Cloak will not save us from being OHKO'd by opposing Dragonite E-Speeds. So the Cloak keeps us safe from Fake Out, which is great, so we don't have to pop the Terra to be immune to Fake Out. But yeah, E-Speed has +2 priority, while Prankster on the Tornadus only gives us +1. So the Terra Ghost can come in really handy in that case. You might also consider Terra Steel to resist ice types, but I felt this was the most consistent. Manual Rain can just be super nice for our team in general. It benefits Urshifu offensively, it benefits Chien-Pao and our Terra Grass Iron Hands defensively, and it's also huge for shutting down opposing Sun teams. Hisuian Lilligant plus Torkoal has become really popular recently, so yeah, it's really great for that. So that is the team. Let's hop into some games. I've gotten us pretty close to Master Ball already. I was taking a long break from playing ladder on carts, so I had to play quite a bit to get back up here. So yeah, let's see if we can't do the last few and break in there. Okay, our first game on this climb to Master Ball here. Red-White is going with a pretty standard hard Trick Room team here, but there is that Lilligant core, so I'm very quickly locking into Tornadus and Flutter main as a lead here, just to account for a potential Lilligant lead. We put Iron Hands in the back, just because it's a very bulky pivot, that plus Fake Out, and there's no Psychic terrain on this team of theirs, should leave us in a really good spot to stall out that Trick Room. And then Chien-Pao as well, just because the Focus Sash means that it can kind of operate in Trick Room to some degree. That, along with the Sucker Punch, right? The real big thing here, though, is that I'm hoping that the Substitute on Flutter main comes in really handy. It can be huge for stalling out Trick Room turns, also being immune to the Sleep Powder from Lilligant. So yeah, it should hopefully be good here. The only issue is that they don't lead Lilligant. My Tornadus is a bit of a dead slot, and that's something I've been trying to figure out in this matchup, honestly. But we'll see how this goes. And it is Cresselia Iron Hands, yeah. So they are going with the hard Trick Room here. I wouldn't have minded leading Iron Hands Flutter Mane instead if I could have, you know, known their lead off the bat. But I think this safe play just to account for Lilligant is really good. Yeah, so I don't think there's much that Tornadus can really do here. Oblique Wind isn't going to do much to either of them. And it's closed team sheets, but I suspect the Crest is going to be Mental Herb. So we're just going to swap it right out for Iron Hands and try to set up a sub with Flutter Mane. They could, like, try to predict it here and go for a Heavy Slam, which would suck if they, like, Heavy Slam plus Trick Room, but we'll just see. I think this is the best play into it. And they go for a Terra. Okay, so they were probably scared of the Dazzle or a Moonblast, which is totally fair. I will always take that they have burned their Terra early, though. Means there's no potential of them maybe going for like a Terra Ghost on that Ursaluna. Means that we get like good Sacred Swords into it. Our sub goes up, of course. So there's no way Flutter was slower than either of those two mons. And just Vault Switch. Okay, so we should take that easily. Flutter Mane's special defense is great, and Iron Hand's special attack is awful. So they get the pivot, of course, but our sub stays up, so that's the important thing here. I don't know that going Terra Grass is really worth the worth it just to pivot out. They do get to bring their Ursaluna out, and if they had hard switched to Ursaluna, that would suck for them. If I Moonblasted the slot, for example. But okay, Trick Room goes up. That Ursaluna is really scary, but they've already burned their Terra, so this is a really safe fake out into that slot, I think. The Cress doesn't really exert much offensive pressure, so I think just fake out plus Dazzle is just a pretty good move here overall. We can get some chip down, we stall at Tornadus Trick Room. After that, we can protect behind our sub. We'll be in a pretty good spot. And they withdraw Cresselia, which is interesting. They could have been going for EQs if they kept the Cresselia out. They could have healed up with Lunar Blessing. But they go for the Protect. Okay, I mean, it makes sense because I'm going to fake them out, but still an interesting move because we got the free Dazzle onto the Iron Hands now. See how much it does. Our Flutter Mane is special attack boosted, but I'm betting that Iron Hands is AV, and we don't have a ton of investment, so, yeah, wow, not a lot. Iron Hands is a very bulky mon. So at this point, I'm very tempted to pop the Terra on Iron Hands and resist a potential headlong rush there. But I think swapping into Tornadus is the play because we will avoid a ground attack if that's what they put into us. And if they go for the Facade, which is much safer on their part, then, you know, Tornadus takes the hit instead of Iron Hands. I don't think Tornadus is really doing much for them. They've shown that they cannot have Lilligant, so Tornadus is kind of a dead slot for us. It might as well be fodder for a turn. Yeah, and we get this Protect off. This is great because it preserves our sub, so we can take a minimum of 2 more hits. Well, a minimum of 1 more hit. Both these mons could probably OHKO us after that. Thunder Punch into Flutter, which suggests this might be setup hands, but I don't think so, just because it took that Dazzle so well. And it is Facade, yeah. So Tornadus goes down, not ideal. But the good news is we can now bring out our Iron Hands and get another fake out off. This is really the power of sub Flutter Mane, though. Like you can stall out Trick Room very well, and Trick Room is such a big archetype in this metagame. Yeah, only 2 more turns of it left. So we fake out, we attack, and then Flutter just gets to protect after that. I am going for a read here. Ursa protected last time when we faked out, and they didn't do it this time, though. So that was a bit ballsy on my part. They just go for a headlong. Ooh, well, the good news is that's going to drop their defenses, at least. We are down to our last 2 mons, but the good news is that their Trick Room's about to expire, and both of our mons are at very good health. This Dazzle should do a lot against a -1 Ursaluna. Good. Okay, okay. Yeah, I actually, despite being down 2v4, I really like my position in this game right now. Because Chien-Pao has a Sash, Flutter Mane has a sub up, they both have Protect available on the last turn of Trick Room. and my opponent doesn't have a double setter. If they had 2 Mons with Trick Room, it would be a mind game whether they go for the double Trick Room to reset, but right now there is literally no reason for me not to just double protect here. My guess is they'd want to swap in Cress at this point, but they might just want to be aggressive and double attack here. We're going to have to see. Yeah, no switches. Okay, we'll take that all day. Yeah, just Volt Switch. Okay, I mean, it just seems so greedy, right? Like, you are faster than me under Trick Room, so there's really no benefit to pivoting that way. You're not protecting the Mon that's coming in if I chose to attack. And they just doubled the Chien-Pao slot. Okay. Yeah, no, we're in an amazing position now. Dazzle kills Ursa, and Ice Spinner kills the Grass Iron Hands, and we still have our Terra available to us. I think we should save that. In case they swap out the hands, then we'll be able to Ghost Terra away from being hit by a Fake Out. That could be very useful later on. And honestly, we have the pressure this turn without Terraing, right? Like, if they don't switch, then we're taking 2 KOs here. We haven't even seen their 4th Mon, so that could be something. I can't remember what was on their team at this point, so I don't know if anything they could have in the back really threatens us. And they just hard withdraw Iron Hands. It makes sense. So they do want that Fake Out pressure later on, and Cress comes out. Yeah, so an Ice Spinner plus a Dazzle isn't going to kill Cress, but it's going to hurt really badly. Yeah, not amazing damage, but if this brings it down to 50%, then we're in a great spot. Yes, yeah, the Cress is, that's pretty comfortable, I think, unless we really high rolled there. Another double into that should stop it from setting another Trick Room. And that is our biggest priority right now, right? I guess they bring out not the Iron Hands, a Flutter main. Interesting, okay. I think it's really safe to double in to the Cress. No need to Terra yet. But yeah, just Ice Spinner into the Cress and Dazzle should be great because they can't kill Chien-Pao or Flutter thanks to the Sash and the sub, right? And we'll get some chip onto their Flutter main if they don't protect it. They do. Okay, well, they really needed to break my Sash, honestly. But we'll take this all day. Yeah, as long as Dazzle does that much damage, which it absolutely should, we have got this game wrapped up. Yeah, all that's left is that Grass Iron Hands in the back, which means that Chien-Pao 100% threatens an Oko onto it. I mean, Oko, it's already taken chip, right? But the important thing is that this is where we burn our Ghost Terra now. We do not want to get faked out. So we do that, we get the Ice Spinner off into the Iron Hands, and we go for Shadow Ball onto their Flutter. I don't know if we're faster, but it doesn't matter because we have the sub up. Love when Ghost Terra comes in handy on this mon. It's a very good defensive Terra. I still enjoy this mechanic a lot. Yeah, there's the Fake Out. It was really their only play, so just kind of pray that I had Ice, for example. But yeah, Ice Spinner should take it out here at 50%, super effective, less than 50% even, so yeah. And then we don't have the best special attack investment, so this is a really bulky Flutter than it's possible we don't pick with Shadow Ball here. But don't forget that we have, A, we're faster, we just saw that we're faster with our Chien-Pao, but B, we have Sucker, so even if that was a speed tie and this doesn't kill, but it does. Awesome. Good game to my opponent, and yeah, this is just shows how you can handle Trick Room with this team despite it being pretty hyper-offensive. Sub on Flutter plus the bulky Iron Hands with Fake Out can really shift it in your favor. Okay, next game, and this time we're up against a pretty hyper-offensive team, but they've got the, what's that even called? Bruxish, the one with anti-priority. Okay, I think this is our Master Ball promotion game too. So yeah, I'm going to once again lead with Tornadus and Flutter Mane, but for very different reasons than against the Trick Room team. In this one, we just want the speed control. If they lead Flutter plus Chi-Yu, for example, I want to make sure that I at least get some damage off. And then Chien-Pao on the back for sure. It just has great damage into almost pretty much everything here besides the fish. And then it's choice between Dragonite and Urshifu. While it's really hard to say, I think while Dragonite is stopped by the anti-priority of the Bruxish, Urshifu could just be made useless by that Murkrow if it happens to have Sunny Day, right? And I could see them leading the Murkrow to match Tailwinds. So against potentially my better judgment, against what's intuitive, I think I am going to bring Dragonite as my fourth here. If we can get rid of the Bruxish, then we have just amazing damage into everything here, except for the Ghost type, of course. But Terra Normal E-Speed will Oko Landorus, it'll Oko Chi-Yu. Yeah. I think it's going to be solid as a late game cleaner if we can set up the board state for it. So my opponent leads, with the Bruxish and Flutter Mane. Okay. Bruxish gets Trick Room, doesn't it? So does the Flutter Mane for that matter. So setting Tailwind can be dangerous, but Bruxish, I think it's Psychic type, right? I'm going to look that up real quick. It is. So yeah, let's go ahead and I think the Shadow Ball should be good. And they go for Protect. Amazing. Okay, so I really hope this kills. I know Bruxish is very tends to run very bulky, but I don't think it has great base stats, right? So it didn't burn the Terra. That's also big. If they had Terra'd this and set Trick Room, we would have been in a really rough spot. But yeah, love that. Okay, they probably were going for Trick Room there. I can't see any other reason why you'd protect with Flutter Mane, but we have a great start going into this. And now Landorus. Okay. I was considering Rain Dance because they might have Chi-Yu as their last, right? And that would really cripple it. But on the other hand, I don't want to give them 100% accurate Sandsear Storms. So I think let's just go for the double damage at this point. And then Shadow Ball. So the reasoning here, and they are going for the Terra. Okay, amazing. So the reasoning here is that, of course, Dragonite doesn't want to be faced with a Ghost type. So what I can do is burn the Shadow Ball into it. If I get the KO, great. And if not, and if they burn their Terra, then I can E-Speed it. And it looks like I can E-Speed it. We know we're faster because of the Tailwind, and they protect the Landorus. They're kind of in a similar spot to where I was in the last game, where they need to stall out Tailwind instead of Trick Room in this case, but they don't really have the tools to do so. And does Bleak Wind hit? That's a protect. It does. Okay, we'll take that. And they go for the Shadow Ball back. So this will take out Flutter for sure. I have... Doesn't. Okay. Well, I kind of wanted Dragonite in, to be honest with you. But the Tailwind doesn't really matter here. We might as well just get all the free damage we can. Yeah, Dazzle plus Bleak Wind. And now they protect with the Flutter. Yeah. I mean, it makes some amount of sense, but they're in a rough spot off the bat. They really gambled it all on that turn one. I feel like if you're going to do that, you should have at least burned your Terra on Bruxish. We have been lucky hitting these Bleak Winds. Ooh, just barely missed the KO too. And they go for Sludge Bomb, so our Flutter Mane does go down here. Okay. Totally fair, and I could have read into that, maybe gone for the Shadow Ball to get a little bit more damage, but I think it's fine. Let's go ahead and bring out the Dragonite here. I think this is fine. I'm a bit iffy on leaving Tornadus in, just because Bleak Wind isn't 100% accurate. So what I want to do is swap it out for Chien-Pao, right? Because it has the Sash, and we have E-Speed on Dragonite, so we will kill whatever we attack with it, and the other one won't be able to kill Chien-Pao because it has its Sash intact. Now, as for whether to Terra, I think I'm going to. It's total overkill, but if they swap, then we'll get bigger damage onto whatever comes in. And I can't really see us needing to go Terra Ghost on Chien-Pao. Or Tornadus for that matter. So yeah, I don't see any other position where we would Terra. Granted, I am losing my flying type, so if they go for Sandsear, I'm going to get hit by it, which would suck. But we're gonna see. That would be a pretty crazy read to click Sandsear into 2 flying types, right? So I think we should be safe on that front. And if we're not, then hats off. But no switches also, or protects. Take out the Flutter, no problem. Yeah, if they had swapped anything in with Chien-Pao and Terra, it would have killed it. But that Sludge Bomb does not poison. Okay, that was actually pretty scary. I might have just traded one bit of RNG for another. But I think even a poison wouldn't have killed Chien-Pao, so we'd be okay. And from here, I could just double attack, but that could be a Sash Fish. Which if they then get a Heat Wave off, they could... I feel like I'm really stretching it here. We could be 100% safe and protect Chien-Pao and then E-Speed with Dragonite here. Just to get it down to Sash. If there is one, right? I probably overthought too much, but it doesn't matter. There was no Sash. I should have just attacked. It's fine, though. Yeah, that Sludge Bomb wasn't doing anything. They could have gone for Earth Power. And they had Protects. They're not choice locked. Very interesting. Anyway, I will definitely take that game. Let's go ahead and see if I made it into Master Ball off of that. This game does have some loading times, though, right? There we go. Nice. Let's get one more in here to show the team at a higher level slightly. Okay, our first game in Master Ball. Pretty high ranked player. Let's see how this goes. Interesting. So Annihilape. I haven't seen a whole lot of that in Reg D yet. Chi-Yu, Flutter, Torn, and then a slow mode as well. I think I'm going to lead Torn Flutter again. I gotta say it's not my most common lead. I don't even bring Torn half the time, but it has been very useful in the games we played so far today. So yeah, this time I'm going to bring Urshifu and Chien-Pao instead of Dragonite though. There are 2 ghosts, so an E-Speed bot doesn't seem ideal. Whereas the water damage could be absolutely huge, especially if it's not a Terra Water Ape. If it is, we could be in some trouble. But we do have 2 special attackers here. Chien-Pao plus Urshifu is just crazy damage, and I haven't got to show it off yet. So if nothing else, here's some variety, right? But yeah, I just realized I've opened Torn Flutter with Chien-Pao in the back every game so far. Is what it is, I guess. And they're opening with Ape and Amoonguss. So, okay. The obvious play is for me to taunt the Amoonguss, right? But that means they probably can just go for Pollen Puff into the Ape. It would be a hard read. I think I'm going to go for it, though, because I can do that and then just set up sub with Flutter. And if they do go for Spore into my Flutter main, then I'll have that set up. And I can hopefully do some big damage, because both of these mons are weak to Bleak Wind. I wouldn't be surprised if they Terra the Ape. That's what I'd predict, in fact. Yeah, if I were in their shoes, I would predict a Taunt plus a Dazzle or Moonblast. So Terraing their Annihilape really makes sense. They don't. Oh my god, I could have just double attacked. If I had just done Dazzle Bleak Wind, that would have ruined it. I got the double hit too. That's a lot of good damage though. Let's see if they called it. If they Spore into Flutter, we'll be in a great spot here. No, okay, so they go for the Rage Fist, so ooh, if they called this and like Rage Fist plus Spore into that slot, that would be pretty ballsy, because I could just protect Flutter, right? And they just go for the Pollen Puff. So they were protecting the taunt. We at least got a lot of free damage off onto the Amoonguss, but the issue is their Annihilapes at full, and the Amoonguss can just regenerate her, right? Okay, so I kind of like the idea of taunting the Ape here. it could just Terra bulk up relatively safely in our faces, and it'll also just stop them from protecting. And then we can just try to set up another sub here. If we can get that up, that would be really helpful. We have only physical attackers in the back, so getting this ape off the board while we have our 2 special ones out could be really big. Big issue is we have given that ape a stack already, and it's at full health thanks to the Pollen Puff. And here's the Terra. Okay, what are they? Yeah, water is pretty common. At least it was in Reg C, so I shouldn't be that upset about this, but that's rough. It makes me wish I had Dragonite instead of Urshifu now. Another Bleak Wind would have been a lot better if they, well, we'll see. If they go for bulk up, then we'd be in a great spot, but nah, just another Rage Fist, and this time into Torn by the looks of where it's facing. Yeah, do we take it? We do, okay. That's really good, because we don't want them to get the speed control. That was probably their play. They wanted to kill our Torn as they swapped their own in, but now we have the sub up, and we can match Tailwinds. So, it's a question of Dazzle versus Shadow Ball in terms of giving the ape stacks, but I think that ship has already sailed at this point, so let's go for the Dazzle and just get as much damage off as we can everywhere. Cool, so we could have lost a speed tie if they tried to go for a taunt on us, so that's big. We get the Tailwind up, and they don't even go for it themselves. They may go for a double attack here, which would be smart. Yeah, Bleak Wind. That's clever. That's probably going to break Flutter main sub if I had to guess. Like, we're bulky, but not that bulky. Yeah. And we've already done the taunt, so inevitably this is going to be a Rage Fist that takes out our Flutter main. And we are going to be down to our last 2 mons. So I've pretty much called every turn this game wrong so far. The good news is that our back is Urshifu plus Chien-Pao, and that will be a very strong setup here. So, wondering whether... I don't really want to click CC with Urshifu, just because lowering our defenses would not be great. I kind of want to double the ape. I feel like Ice Spinner into the Tornadus is really obvious, right? So we can go for Sucker plus Terra Surging Strikes. It's Terra Surging Strikes or Close Combat. Let's go for the Terra Surging Strikes, because if we get this wrong, and if they attack with Tornadus, we won't be weak to the Bleak Wind, and we won't be lowering our defenses. So I think this is overall the safest play. And the reason I think it's safe is that if they attack with the ape, then we will pick up this KO, whereas with their Terra, we wouldn't otherwise. But Chien-Pao boosting the power of Surging Strikes here, plus Terra, is going to be really strong, even if they resist it. And they're withdrawing it. For... I can't read Japanese, unfortunately. Amoonguss, it probably has Rocky Helmet. Why would you predict that I was gonna water attack your water ape? I don't know if it's Rocky Helmet, but the odds are very good. I've gotten every turn wrong this game so far. It is, it's been rough. And our Sucker's gonna do nothing now. But they did protect the Torn, so if I'd Ice Spinnered that, it would have been the same result. And I'm actually kind of happy the Sucker does nothing, because it means if this is Rocky Helmet, I at least get to keep my Sash intact. This is going to hurt Urshifu if it is, though. Let's see how much damage we do here. That's considerable for a resisted hit, but yeah, there's that. Almost every Amoonguss is running Rocky Helmet in this format. That's, you can almost just assume it is at this point. Well, okay. That is way more damage than I expected. Okay, so I think I like Ice Spinnering the Tornado. We still have Tailwind, and they don't. They'll probably set it with their last turn, but that's fine. We can go for Ice Spinner on the Tornadus and Surging Strikes onto the Amoonguss. We'll probably hurt ourselves again on the helmet, but that is just necessary evil at this point. If they're smart, they'll use this opportunity to get a Tailwind up, right? They withdraw Amoonguss, so whatever comes in is going to get really hurt by this. And it's the ape. They will get just 3 more Rage Fist stacks, but I think they're not going to appreciate this anyway. Oh, Sunny Day! Oh, okay. So, okay, that's really clever. The ape is going to take this a lot better now. But in their shoes, that crit did not matter. In their shoes, I almost think that Tailwind is better because mine's about to expire in a turn. And, yeah, God, that really messed me up. But I still have close combat, right? And with Chien-Pao on the field and them under 50%, I think CC picks up from this point. And if they've already burned their Terra, so if they bring Amoonguss in, then Chien-Pao can kill it. And Chien-Pao's faster than my Urshifu because I'm not running Sash, or not running Scarf rather. So I think we're in a, yeah, it's just Amoonguss again. Great, we're in a fantastic spot. You can Rage Powder away if you want to. We just Ice Spinner the Shroom and close combat the Ape, and that should be it. There's no way that can go bad. This can go wrong for me, right? No, I don't think so. Yeah, Rage Powder. Okay, sure. I do have to sacrifice Chien-Pao's Sash, but unless there's something in the back that can kill both my Mons, I think we're in a great spot. Could be Flutter main. But yeah, we are always faster than this Ape, even without the Tailwind, so that's great. Yeah, it's just gonna come down to their final Mon. Us losing the Sash on Chien-Pao is pretty big. It's a really big part of playing endgames with it. So yeah, this Rocky Helmet is a fantastic item on, like, not just Amoonguss in this format, pretty much everything. What do we got here? It is the Flutter. Okay. So that's interesting. I think we're okay though. So what we can do is just double priority this thing, right? A lot of Flutters will live Ice Spinner or Sucker Punch. They have the same base power, right? But it should leave it with very little HP. And even in the sun, Terra Water plus Sword of Ruin from Chien-Pao, that should be enough to, yeah, easy. Whew, yeah. So this game was, I thought we were in a bad spot there, and we managed to pull it back. It just shows the power of Chien-Pao plus a powerful priority physical attacker in the back. Like, you can just steal games out of the jaws of defeat. But yeah, that was great. I'm glad I got to show off this team. It is absolutely my favorite in this format so far, but I'm going to be doing some more unique stuff going forward. So yeah, stay tuned, and until next time.